Hello, Brigadiers and Brigadettes and hockey fans alike. This is your captain speaking. Welcome to my channel. Now let's jump into some hockey content. Hello everybody, happy Thursday. And we're going to talk about this video where it is potential trades for Anze Kopitar and where he could go. One thing I wanted to point out was, for some reason I haven't been wearing hats in videos, don't know why that is, but today my hair is a mess, so I had to put it in a hat. And also I just wanted to say thank you for your support. Please make sure to like and subscribe. My videos have been doing really well lately, thank you for that. So before we start the video, one thing I do want to say is these are not real trades, these are just places where I thought it'd be really fun for Anze Kopitar to go to. So yeah, don't take this to heart, don't say this would never happen. These are just places I'd like to see him end up if he did get traded. So, the Los Angeles Kings are in the middle of a rebuild, and apparently the Kings are potentially thinking about trading captain Anze Kopitar for potential defensive help. This would be sad, obviously, as Kopitar has spent all 15 seasons of his career with the Kings. He's got a lot of accolades to his name, 334 goals, he could possibly hit 400 on his career, 628 assists, good for 962 points, as well as 2 Selkies and 2 Stanley Cups. To be honest, I don't like basketball, but Kopitar was really my Kobe growing up. Much like the Lakers, even though I don't really like basketball, I didn't like the Kings, but I admired Kopitar and had to watch him play. He was so fun to watch. I'm not sure how a trade will happen, as Kopitar has 3 years left on his deal after this season with $22 million left on the contract, and he has a modified no-trade clause, which means he can provide a list of 7 teams that he can be traded to. Other than that, they can't trade him to any other teams as far as I'm aware. Los Angeles has a lot of cap space, so they could eat up some of the cap that he has got left. If that was the case, then I think they would have more trade partners. So let's take a look at 5 trades that I would like to see him be a part of and go to. And again, not all of these are likely, if any of them, but with COVID it's tough to say who has a market for Kopitar because his contract is so big. Again, the Kings would probably eat some of the contract. So trade number 1, this would be really fun to watch. Kopitar gets sent to Carolina. This would be practically impossible to do, but wouldn't it be amazing to see Kopitar on a young, exciting team that's a dark horse for the Stanley Cup, with Aho and Svechnikov being able to learn from the veteran? It would be must-see hockey in my opinion, but I think that'd be everybody's opinion really. The only problem is it's pretty much impossible. You've got Vincent Trocheck locked in as the team's number 2 center, and then you have Jordan Staal, who has got, I think, 2 more years left on his deal, and he has a no-movement clause, not even a modified no-movement clause. He has a no-movement clause where he does not plan on leaving Carolina. Can't say that I'm not surprised there. I don't know how this trade would work. I'm guessing the Kings would have to eat a big chunk of Kopitar's salary, and the Canes would probably have to send over Trocheck in the deal. Who knows if that would happen? I really don't see that happening, but a guy can dream, right? Wouldn't that be fun to see him in Carolina? Now, the second trade is Kopitar heads to Minnesota. This is a trade I can't see happening, but wow, would it be fun to imagine. The Wild are one of the weakest teams in the league when it comes to center depth, and really the only one that impresses me on this roster is Joel Eriksson Ek. Excuse me, let me put that all together. I typed that weird. Joel Eriksson Ek. No, exactly like the Carolina trade, I'm not sure what would have to happen for this to go down. Kopitar to Minnesota, it seems really unlikely, but it just comes down to me wanting to watch him with Kirill Kaprizov, the rookie from Russia. I'd love to see them play together. He could, teach him the reins, and I think it'd be fun, and especially since they have such thin center depth, I think it would be really something special to watch. And Minnesota has outperformed expectations this year. Am I buying into Cam Talbot being a big part of their future? I don't know. He's older. I have liked watching Cam Talbot play since I've been a kid, so maybe, but I'm not going to buy into it too much, but yeah, it'd be really exciting to see him and Kaprizov play together. Now, the third trade, this honestly might have been the trade I'm most excited for, and that would be Kopitar gets traded from one sunny place to another. He goes from LA to Florida. The place that I'm talking about is Miami, where the Florida Panthers play. Even though they don't have a lot of cap space, wow, would this be fun to watch. The Panthers, like the Wild, they don't have a lot of center depth, and it'd be fun to watch Barkov and Kopitar be the top 2 centers on this team. I really don't see Florida having enough to make a trade happen for LA to make this deal occur, but I do think it'd be so much fun to watch Florida. And I'm not usually a guy that watches teams that are offensive heavy, but I think it'd be so fun to watch the Florida Panthers have Kopitar because he provides two-way value. which is something they need because they're definitely an offensive-minded team. Plus, he provides that pedigree, that culture, which I think would be huge. Now, the first 6 games for Florida have been really impressive to start off the year, I gotta say. Through the first 6 games, guys like Duclair, Verhaeghe, Yandel, Barkov, Hornquist are all performing really well. Now, I know that Verhaeghe is listed as a center, but I don't see him taking a lot of face-offs. Maybe it's a Pettersson situation in Vancouver where JT Miller or Bo Horvat takes the face-offs for him. But if not, that'd be really fun to see Kopitar take over that second-line spot. And, I know they have, let me pronounce his name, even though I know I'm going to get it right. Eetu Luostarinen is, one of their young up-and-coming guys and is playing well in his second year. And it looks like he's a third-line center. But you could definitely put him on the third line, regardless if Kopitar got there, because he would not have to worry about the stress of these top 6 minutes, where he's, going up against other top 6 centers, where he could go down. Obviously, you have 4 centers. You could put him on the third line. He could, get to play against less competition while also getting room to grow, get that man strength, as people say. And he could learn from Kopitar. I think that'd be super fun. And I think that'd be huge possibly for his development. I don't see this one happening, but wow, wouldn't that trade to Florida be something? Now, would it make them contenders? No, but it would make them really fun to watch. Now, the last 2 trades, don't bail on me yet. These are interesting to talk about. Trade number 4, Kopitar heads to Motown. I know. This trade would be weird because the Red Wings would probably take on a majority, if not all, of the salary. They're one of the few teams that really could do this, where they could take on his whole contract and be fine in the COVID era. Because obviously teams are cash strapped. I flipped that backwards, my apologies. And again, Detroit, one of the probably 4 teams that could handle this deal, take on the whole thing even this year, all 4 years. They could slot him as the second-line center behind Dylan Larkin. And I think one thing that'd be huge here is they bring in a culture guy. You look at Bertuzzi, you look at Mantha, you look at Larkin. They've come in and they've just, I'm not going to say they've grown accustomed to losing, but, this Red Wings core has really had to endure some painful moments. And I think it'd be huge to have a guy like Kopitar come in with his pedigree, a good 2-way player that provides value at his old age, but also teaches them, the championship pedigree. And I know they've got Steve Yzerman there as a GM, but a guy that's actually playing down on the ice, pulls out the championship rings and says, this is what I've got, these rings right here, these 2. I think that'd be really fun to see him play there. I really can't see this happening for one major reason. Steve Yzerman is a big guy in analytics. Something tells me that while culture is important to him, not adding a big contract of an old player is even more important. But for some reason, when I thought of this trade, I said, wow, wouldn't that be fun? And wouldn't that be something that'd be a big culture thing? I don't see it happening, but maybe if LA sent over picks or something like that, if, Detroit took over the whole contract, that way they don't have to worry about this down the line if Kopitar's value is not huge. I don't know, just a fun trade. Again, these aren't, me saying this is what's going to happen. This is just things that I thought would be fun. And then the 5th and final trade, do not bail on me yet, please. This is where Kopitar heads to no man's land in Ottawa. Now, this trade, I can tell you right now, will never happen, ever. Melnyk hates paying players, and I think that Kopitar would not want to go to the Senators. I couldn't see it putting it on his modified no-trade list. This is something, again, that I think would be fun to explore. And although he is expensive, I think he could be a great mentor to a lot of these younger players. I couldn't see him doing it, though. This would be like going to hockey hell. You would go from sunny LA, where it's a big market, and the team's starting to get on the up and up. I know this year they might not show up, but they've got some prospects that are coming in, and then having to go to LA Ottawa, Ottawa's Ottawa. Nothing against Ottawa. Personally, I don't mind it, but I know that, going from LA to Ottawa would be a shock, and you have to deal with an owner that not a lot of people are fond of, a team that doesn't like to spend money, and you would be in the middle of a rebuild too here. But I think it'd be really big for him to come in, mentor these young guys like Josh Norris, Brady Tkachuk, Thomas Chabot, and Tim Stützle. Now, I will say with Tkachuk and Chabot, it's not as big of a deal because, they've really started to develop. But again, it's much like the Detroit situation. They were born into losing. This is like what they've known since they've come into the league. They need a guy that, plays the game the right way, both ways, a 2-way player, and that can, give that experience to them. At the end of the day, if you have a veteran that's been there, done that, and done it at a high level, a Hall of Fame level. It wouldn't hurt to bring him in. I don't see it happening, though, just because of the contract. And really, I think if it came down to it, Norris and Stützle would be the main two guys you'd want him to kind of mentor. It'd still be really cool, and I think it would be great, and a huge thing for a culture piece. But it's not going to happen. I mean, Melnyk is not going to spend that money. And again, like I said, no way Kopitar waives that and lets them trade him to Ottawa. Couldn't see it in a million years, but it would be fun. These are my 5 trades that I have presented to you, or, let me know what you think. Obviously, these aren't real. Kopitar, there has been grumblings that LA is looking to possibly move him and Doughty because of their contracts. So let me know what teams you would like him to go to. And again, obviously, these aren't real trades, so you can't say I'm an idiot, because guess what? These are just places I'd like to see him go and, have a positive impact. Everybody, please like and subscribe. Have a great day. Stay away from COVID. And we'll see you Saturday. Goodbye, Brigadiers and Brigadettes, and hockey fans in general. This is your captain signing off. Have a great week.